Hi, my name is Jeff Albertazzi, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my research on increasing student learning by mapping out learning goals and the success criteria to reach those goals. With the district moving and rolling out the new integrated model and implementing the next generation science standards, not only are the standards new, but the content and disciplines have shifted and are 70% different in the grade levels we have, and we have no curriculum at the time. This slide shows the comparison before the discipline Pacific model on the right and the new integrated model on the left. In red is the only common standards from the previous to the new integrated model. So not only are the standards new, what the actual content we are teaching is new. For example, life science now is teaching earth science, physical science. For my research, I wanted to see if using concept maps to connect the concepts and the different levels of understanding those concepts when creating units would give students a clearer picture of the learning goals and the criteria for success of those goals. These would be shared with them so they could monitor their progress during the unit of study. I came across this quote. I don't think it was intended for education, but it resonated with me going through my first term in the master's program. Here in Napa, only half of our students in the 8th grade are scoring proficient on the state science test. Also, many of the learning walks for professional development I have been on were focused around questions like, did students know what they were learning? Did students have a clear expectation of what they were learning? And besides the new NGSS and the integrated rollout, studies have also shown links to scientific thinking and solving real social and environmental issues. It's not just science, it's the way we think and problem solve, so it's essential that all students have this knowledge and skill. Here are two quotes from my research that solidify the positive impact of concept maps on student clarity and learning. The purpose of the study was to see if using concept maps with students gave them more clarity on the learning goals and the criteria for success or reaching those learning goals. The bottom left is the digital copy I gave them, and in the photo on the right is what is hanging on the classroom wall during the unit. For this unit, we were looking at ecosystems and interactions of symbiotic relationships in those ecosystems. For my research, I used a 11-question multiple choice pre and post test to collect quantitative data and to see if the students learned the content. The questions were written at the surface level and did not really represent depth or transfer of knowledge. The average of all the test scores went up 24%. Sixth period was the lowest increase, and I have some thoughts on why, and that could definitely be for a future study. I also asked the kids 5 survey questions and gave them a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being no help at all and 5 being helped out a lot. The scores averaged around 3.5 for each question. I wonder if I could consolidate the questions and made them a little more kid-friendly. I also gave them an opportunity to give me feedback. Most of it was positive. Some said it didn't help. I wonder, though, how many it helped them without realizing it. We are dealing with middle school kids. Some limitations were the time frame. This was a really short time frame, and I felt rushed trying to cover the content. I wonder how much will really be retained in the long term. I also feel like the students didn't get the in-depth or didn't have the opportunity to get the in-depth knowledge or have the opportunity to transfer that knowledge they had learned. Next time I would look into adding the concept map in for activities and maybe even use it as an assessment piece. For my capstone, I want to hone in on concept mapping through the lens of an inquiry project-based science class. And to wrap it up, I'm worried that both the teachers and the students aren't clear on the learning goals and the criteria for succeeding in these goals. I hope shared concept mapping with the students will help them in learning and understanding the next generation science standards so they can think critically and problem solve and on top of it be successful in the science classes they will enter in high school. And thanks again for listening to my research here on concept mapping and student clarity.